Welcome to the New in Lynchburg podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to helping you get the most out of this great city, Lynchburg, Virginia. You'll get highlights on upcoming events, interviews with interesting people. You'll learn more about local nonprofits, and we'll keep you connected to all the new things going on in Lynchburg. Here are your hosts, Josh and Ray. Welcome to another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast. I'm Josh Rose, along with my co-host, Ray Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone.
And Natalie Rogers.
Hey.
And we are New in Lynchburg.
Since fall has begun and the weather's starting to change, it gets everyone thinking about the fall season. This brings a lot of different thoughts and pictures into people's minds about the fall and what it means to them. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about what we love about fall, some of our favorite things to do during the fall season, and even share some fall stories with you guys.
So I think it would be kind of fun if we all kind of shared our favorite things about fall. Natalie, you are from Miami. It's a little warmer there. You came to Lynchburg for school about 3 years ago.
Yep.
What is your experience with fall as a kid and fall here?
Every time someone asks me that, I just think about how when I was a kid, all I thought about when I would watch movies and TV and stuff was that fall was make-believe, that it was just imaginary.
What?
Yeah, they just did it for entertainment. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
It's just like Santa Claus.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, it's not real. And so I always thought that was super cool. And then growing up, I realized that, oh, that exists.
What age did you finally figure that out?
Hopefully it was before high school,
Yeah.
but I can't make any promises.
Well, I was a freshman in college, and
When I moved here 3 years ago at the age of, I think definitely that was something for me that was very changing. Like just coming here, having to put a sweater on in November over there. I'm going to the beach and it's Thanksgiving weekend.
So how many seasons are there in Miami?
There's one and it's called summer.
All right.
And, I remember I have family in South Florida, like everybody probably does when their grandparents, in the 90s, they went down to Florida.
Tired.
Yeah, retired. So I would go there every summer. And I remember you would basically just walk from air-conditioned house to air-conditioned car to air-conditioned store and back. That's all basically you did.
Yeah, which explains why I don't really like to be outdoors much, because I was always stuck inside or outside sweating.
Sure. I have a similar story about childhood and thinking something was totally different or weird than it was. So my grandparents had this picture in their house, and it was like a farm with trail and going to like this meadow, but the trail had red dirt. And I was like, why do they do that? Why is it? Dirt is brown. Like, why do they have that trail with red dirt? Like, I just thought maybe it was just his interpretation. Like he just wanted it to be there. And then I realized that, well, like here we have red clay. So where I'm from, dirt is brown, but here it's red. So that was my thing that I didn't know until
in Miami. It's just all paved, so there is no dirt. It's
That's
sand.
true.
No dirt.
It is. It's paved
it's white.
or sand.
It's white sand. Yeah.
Yeah, and the leaves are all green. So that's something else that I really like about fall here, that you get to see all the changes. The colors of the leaves change. Everything's green. So you have red and you have orange, you have yellow. You have all sorts of different colors that I would only see in movies as a kid.
I always like watching the leaves kind of floating across the road.
Oh, yeah.
Except my sister, she would sometimes think it was a mouse, running across the road because it was like scurrying, And then one time it was a mouse, and it was pretty funny. So
That's horrible.
beautiful leaves.
Something else that I still do all the time, even though now the weather's nice and cold in Lynchburg. But, well, it's cold for me. I'm sure most people don't think it's cold. But I would watch Hallmark, the romantic movies.
They're all just the same exact movie over and over again, just to have a different name. Like
Ray, I haven't watched them, so I don't know what you're talking about.
well,
Ray apparently has watched
my
them.
mother-in-law and my wife, they watch them all the time. And I always say, it's just that they changed the name. It's Thanksgiving Miracle, Thanksgiving Gift,
Christmas Miracle.
Thanksgiving Shoe, whatever.
They could say that about all the action movies that I
They
watch.
can.
so.
Marvel is the same thing. I watched Spider-Man last night, and it's the same thing.
I don't watch them.
Anyways, the romantic movies are great, and yes, they're all the same
And
because
Christmas
it's happy.
too. Christmas
ending.
shoes.
25 days to Christmas.
Whatever. Christmas every day. The same movie. Same actors.
So you were telling me earlier before the podcast that you used to like almost pretend it was fall and you'd like crank the AC down, bundle up.
Definitely in Miami. So what I would do is I would put the air conditioning lower, so it's like 65, and I'm like freezing. And
When the weather inside is frightful.
yeah, and so I would just get some blankies. I'd put a beanie over my head like if it was fall inside, and just sit and drink my coffee, but it was really hot. and then just watch the Hallmark all day long.
You know what's funny? There's people in cold areas that like pretend it's warm. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it works.
yeah.
You have an invention,
Yeah.
Josh, that you
Oh,
thought of
yeah,
in
yeah.
regards to this.
So
right?
we were talking about this earlier. How many people drink coffee or tea or whatever in a more warm mug, but they're not actually drinking the coffee or tea? They just use it as a hand warmer. And so I thought to myself, I could make a mug that just stays warm for hours on end and market it to these people.
Or you could
Yeah.
just boil water and just put it in your cup.
I have an invention. Do not stifle my dreams.
I would use your invention. I'm the person that buys stuff like that when it's
I got
outside.
something
and
to
it's
sell
cold.
you.
Why is there a rice bag in your cup? Prototype.
That's a good one.
Well, next week when I have the prototype, we'll try it out.
Yeah, we will. We'll let you know. Get research.
We might have to wait until it gets a little bit colder, but
No, it's fine. Just crank the AC. I learned that from someone. All right, so I'm going to tell one of my favorite things. I love campfires. I like just hearing the crackle of the fire, the warmth, getting out there, just breaking up little sticks, throwing them in. My son has inherited that desire
The pyro?
for fire. So I bought him these little tiny matchbooks. Not matchbooks, but they're like little boxes of matches. They're like a buck at Kroger for like 10 of them. And we had someone over when we were having a campfire. My son comes up to me and he's like, Dad, can I have my matches? I want to play with my matches. The other person, they were just like, and shocked. So yes, I let my son play with matches in a controlled environment.
You live in like
with
a
the
100
fire.
and something acre farm, so you're good.
Yeah, well, matches still can burn things.
Sure.
But we're very careful. It's controlled. What are some of the other things we love about fall?
My favorite thing about fall is the cool, crisp air. I just feel like when I'm breathing in that air, it's just clean and pure. It just makes me feel really good. And I love the smells of fall. I have family that had wood burning stoves heat their house. Anytime I smell that smell during the fall, it brings me back to my childhood. That's what fall does to a lot of people. They remember what it was like to build a huge leaf pile and jump into it, or go to that pumpkin picking with family. So that's why I think so many people love fall. It just brings all those memories back to when we were young.
Let me interrupt here about the leaf pile, because that's something that I had forgotten about. So as a kid, I remember so many times raking up all the leaves and making like a massive leaf pile and jumping in it, playing with it and all that. So my kids, they did that and they raked up all the leaves and I helped them. And my view of leaves changed when I started seeing all the little bugs and just all the nasty stuff in there in the water. And the kids are like, come play in here with me. Come play. I'm like, hey, you guys are doing fine. You guys are fine.
So it kinda
I always
changed
end
for
up
you?
in it, but then I end up with like leaves down my shirt and everything. It's not quite as fun as when I was a kid.
I've done that my whole life. A lot of trees in my yard.
Put leaves down your shirt?
Jump into leaf piles, and we would get them all up and bag them into 80 bags and all that fun stuff. But here, I live in a development, and there's no trees.
Yeah,
There's an
you have
old
no trees.
I have no trees at all.
You're in an old like cow pasture.
Wow.
Yes. Well, my house isn't an old cow patch, but yeah, it was a farm before, and they built development out of it. The one good thing, I don't have to rake any leaves, but I don't get to see them that much either. And
yeah, I've never had to rake leaves.
You don't have leaves in Miami.
Nope,
it's all plastic.
it's not real.
All right, what about apple picking? Who likes apple picking?
I went to an apple festival, and they didn't allow you to pick apples.
That's sacrilegious.
I thought that was like unbelievable. We could get them from the big bin that they had picked already, but that's half the fun, is going there and picking apples yourself and with your family, and eating them on your way and putting them in your little thing and
I
taking them
think
home.
just too many people were eating them.
I guess
out
so.
of
I guess. I mean, I know it's hard work.
I don't like this type.
I know it's a lot of work for them though, so I understand that. But I just felt like it took so much out of it for me. Like the experience was wasted.
So apple cider is made from all the apples that fall on the ground.
I love apple cider, especially
They-
when it's not pasteurized.
So they take all those apples, like some of them are a little bit on the rotten side. That's why, apple cider has a nice little flavor to it. They throw them all in the big apple cider press. That's why they don't care that much if they fall on the ground. They just hire people to pick up all the ground apples. So next time you have cider, maybe think about warming it up for a while,
Boiling it.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's all filtered and everything.
I
like
do
that,
love apple cider. And actually, my family in New York, upstate New York, Willie's Farm and Cider Mill, if you ever are in upstate New York, they used to press their own apples, but it has to be pasteurized. So now they can't do it unless you bring the apples to them, and then they can press them for you. And either way, it's really cool. They have a cool operation up there, and they do hay rides and all that fun stuff, just kind of like they do a lot of places around here, like Drumheller's Orchard and Lehman Farm and all that place.
Yeah, there's
Places
a lot of great apple orchards. My personal favorite, although there's some great ones, is Dickey's Brothers, just because it's more of like a normal, it's not touristy at all. And they have pumpkins there and sweet potatoes and other stuff, and it's kind of tucked away in the hills a little bit.
Sure.
Nice.
I've
But
gone
I
to,
like
we've
that
gone to Gross,
Gross
Orchard
is
a lot
nice.
because they have those apple fritter thingies. Those are really good.
Johnson's, that one's fun because they have the
Yeah.
animals there. The kids love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have yet to go apple picking and pumpkin picking. I'm going to do that this weekend, actually.
Are you really?
Also going to have chili for the 5th time this week.
Lots of
So
chili.
tell us about your chili experience.
I've never had chili until I moved to Lynchburg, and it's good. I love chili, but I probably don't love chili every single day.
It's just not Brunswick stew, which I don't really like.
All right, what about pumpkin picking? When I was a kid, I was in California, but there was enough fields and stuff around at that time. There's not anymore. What they would do is they would grow them at the farm, and then they would bring them out to a field, and they would like stagger them all out like equidistant apart, and then you go out and you run out and you pick the pumpkin
You don't even
want.
pick them. You just like lift it off the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so when I got older and I realized that they grow and there's like all these vines and weeds and all that in like a real pumpkin patch, I was just thinking to myself, it's not quite as fun. Getting like all these just bugs and sticker bushes and everything. Like, I mean, we live on kind of like a farm, so I deal with that, but I have this memory of picking pumpkins where it's all just beautiful.
Next time, just go to the farm stand.
Exactly.
One, you know?
I can't bring myself to go to Walmart and get one.
The other day, you were talking about how you picked a 722-pound pumpkin once.
So I didn't pick the pumpkin. That pumpkin was a purchase. So it wasn't picked, it was a pumpkin purchase.
You picked a pumpkin purchase?
So the story behind that is there was a guy that I worked with that his girlfriend grew it for a contest. And she entered the contest and did good. And he had been driving around with it for like a week. Spur of the moment.
Deciding what he was going to do with it?
Yeah, like he didn't know what. So I was like talking to him. I'm like, what are you going to do with it? He didn't know. So spur of the moment, whatever. It's the middle of the night because I worked nights. I said, I'll buy it. I'll give you $20. And he's
You
like,
make those
okay.
decisions at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Those aren't the best ones. So anyway, I got some great pictures, but the problem with buying a 722-pound pumpkin is you just bought a 722-pound pumpkin.
And it doesn't last forever.
It doesn't last forever, and you have to get it out of the back of your truck. So
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
By yourself.
Yeah, because my wife had just had a baby. He was maybe like 3 months old at that point. So she was in not the best shape to be pushing 722 pounds.
I don't think anybody's ever in great shape to push off a 722
Well,
pound pumpkin.
I'd spent a while thinking of how I was going to get it out of the truck, and one of my ideas was to back up really fast and then just
Hit the brakes.
and then just stop. But luckily, that was not in the middle of the night when I thought of that, and I thought better of it. It ended up all working out in the end. So.
Maybe there's
Nice.
a nice huge pumpkin patch wherever you dumped all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So one of the things that I really love to do during the fall is hiking. I would spend a lot of time hiking in New York, upstate, in the Catskill Mountains with my family, and so I love to do that. And I'm so thankful that we have a lot of great hiking places here. We actually, a couple guys from church went with me, and a couple years ago, we went to McAfee's Knob. I don't know if you guys have been there.
Yes.
It's in...
No.
It's Natalie has not. It's near Roanoke. So we went up and we actually had an overnight trip. Carried all this gear up there, like we knew what we were
Bear
doing.
Grylls.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Survivor Man.
I like that show. I bought like flint, and I had my.
Did you actually like start the fire?
I did.
with it?
I
Nice.
did. Well, I had a tip that I had was I brought dryer lint with me and put it in my pocket. That was what I used to.
The first time Ray's ever done laundry.
That's not true. It's not true, people. Yeah, so I took the dryer lint out and it was great. Fired right up. It was awesome. We boiled our own water, get rid of all of the parasites and everything. Went down to this little spring to get that water out. So it was really fun. And it's great to be able to have that right here. And it was right along the Appalachian Trail.
Let me get this straight. You're surviving in the middle of the woods, and you just happen to have dryer lint that you find.
I didn't find it. I had brought
Well,
it.
No,
I
he
know, but
purposely
that's
put it in his
cheating.
pocket.
You're
How is
supposed
that-
to, you're supposed
That's
to do
being
it
resourceful. That's not cheating.
It's responsibility.
I mean, do you not bring a tent when you go? Because you call that
No,
cheating?
you're supposed to be roughing it.
You're just going to lay on the ground with nothing? No jacket,
Yeah.
No, you bring as much as you can. We had thick cut bacon. It was great.
Wow.
It was awesome. I know Natalie loves hiking.
Yeah, hiking. 3 years ago when I first moved here, everybody talks about hiking and camping and all this stuff. And I'm from Miami, so we don't really do that often.
You don't have hills or mountains?
We don't have hills or mountain. Everything's just flat concrete. So I remember when they were like, oh, let's go hiking. So we went hiking. We went to Shark Top. And I remember a couple of days before.
Sharp top, not shark top.
Yeah, you're just because you
I'm
live by
thinking
the
of
ocean.
Miami.
There's no sharks. It's just
Sharp
Because it's real
Top.
pointy at the top, like
Yeah.
a shark fin.
Sharp Top. I went to the store the day before and I just hiked out. Like I bought my hiking boots at Goodwill for like $2, but they were still awesome hiking boots. They weighed like 30 pounds though, so that was not beneficial. But I just bought my hiking bandana. I bought everything hiking, the water
specific
bottle.
hiking bandanas?
I don't know, but I bought one.
It said, I love nature.
Yeah. I love hiking. And so then we went out hiking. And to me, hiking was just like, 10-minute hike and I'll be at the top. I can see the whole world. This is awesome. Like 3 hours later, I got to the top and it took 3 hours. And because of me, because every 5 minutes I would be like, I need to take a break. This is a long walk. This is too much for me.
It was the boots?
Yeah, it was the boots. I blame them on the boots. Yeah. And then
boots.
you finally get to the top and you get to experience it for like 10 minutes. And then it's like, all right, gotta go.
And then you run down as fast as you can back to your car.
I was like, all right. So this is a great once in a lifetime experience.
I went hiking the other, about a month ago off the Blue Ridge, and it was this trail. It's supposed to be a beautiful waterfall, and it ended up being straight down like these sheer cliffs, and we brought the kids. My one knee was bugging me, and both my wife's knees were bugging her because it was just straight downhill right at the beginning. No warm-up, anything. The kids are having a blast running along, and there's like these cliffs on either side, and we're like, stay close to the edge, you know? We finally make it to the waterfall, and it was so dry, it was like a water trickle. It wasn't exciting at all. And then we got a nice family photo where like me and my wife are just exhausted looking and all sweaty, and the kids are just like, come on, parents.
I actually have a waterfall story, and it's actually Northern California waterfall story.
Ooh.
So I went to California once in my life. It was a work trip. So I actually got to bring my wife along because the hotel was paid for. All I had to do was pay for her airfare. It was awesome. So we go and we're driving. We're taking a trip. We went down Highway 1?
Yeah, that's the one along the coast.
Yeah. So we went down that road and unreal just views. Unbelievable. And we're going to this waterfall. Supposed to be right along the beach, like goes into the ocean. I was looking forward to that so much. So we go over this really cool bridge and we're almost there. Then we get out and we walk and we hike through these bluffs all on the Pacific Ocean, which I'd never seen before. And we finally get around this corner where this waterfall is. And it was so disappointing. It was like a little trickle. Like I was like, man, there's like some old guy up there holding the hose right now laughing at us, you know, because he got us here because of this waterfall. And it's just this little tiny trickle coming out. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah, if you go hiking around here or anywhere and you want to see the waterfalls, you have to do it in the spring because that's when all the water is. So all the pictures and all the beautiful photography, they take that in the spring months because that's when all the water flows. So don't make the mistake that Ray and I made, okay?
And there are some actually great falls. I mean, everybody knows Crabtree Falls, which is awesome. There's also, I think it's called Crystal Falls or
that's what the internet's for.
something like that. It was like
There's Panther Falls too.
no, I can't remember what it's called. Somebody leave a message and tell me what it is. But it's something like Crystal Falls or something like that. And it's 2 hours away. And it's awesome because you can literally stand right underneath the waterfall. And then there's a little ledge. And then you can jump into
Is
the
it
water.
Crabtree Falls?
We just said that.
No, it's
If you repeat it enough, it will become Crabtree Falls.
true. No,
My bad.
it's not Crabtree. It's something like that. Crystal? Not
Shark
Crystal.
Top?
Shark Top.
So, but it was awesome. So I'm going to look that up for you guys. If you guys know, just leave a comment. I'm going to do some research.
There's another one that's not a waterfall, but it's a cool water hike feature. Devil's Bathtub. Have you seen the pictures of that?
I have.
Pretty. I haven't been there yet, but I want to check that one out.
Yeah, true. We definitely need to take that trip because it looks awesome. I think it's only a couple hours away too, but I haven't been to that one.
All right. I think that's it. Enjoy the fall. There's so much to do around here in the fall. We love it. Why don't we segue and just talk about some of the upcoming events that are coming up this weekend?
Yeah, so I got the new Lynchburg Events calendar up. We wanted to highlight some events happening this weekend, like the Apple Harvest Festival, which is Saturday and Sunday. We also have the 20th annual Chili Cook-Off this Saturday.
Oh,
Especially for
Natalie, you
Natalie.
love chili.
Yeah. So my pick this week is going to be the Mountain View Vintage Market, which is going to be in Bedford County with the view of Peaks of Otter.
Nice.
It's going to be really cool. And they're going to have food trucks there. They're going to have photo ops with vintage trucks, even vintage wagons. They're going to have handmade vendors, and they're going to have so much more. It's
The
going to be
vendors are going to be handmade.
Yeah. Are we going to
well, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be vendors who make handmade things.
Yeah, I like that because instead of it being resold stuff, it's like very cared for, well crafted. People put a lot of thought into that.
And it's a great place to find a really good gift for all the
Yeah.
holidays
Oh, yeah.
that's coming up.
Definitely.
I know my wife loves all the like decorations for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving coming up.
Fall
and
pumpkins.
pumpkins and those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
And people love signs, things made out of wood, so it's really cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what time is that going to be running?
That's going to be on Saturday from 10 to 5. So if you're in the area or if you have nothing to do Saturday, definitely check that place out. It's going to be really cool. Also, we wanted to let you guys know if we missed any events, please add them on our page, on our Add an Event page. So many cool things happening in the area. We don't want to leave anything out.
Yeah, if you have an event, the way we set it up is if you click on our website, there's actually a button and you can just type in all that information and send it right to us and we'll pop it on there. So as long as it fits in with the same type of events we normally do, we'd love to add it. We try to track everything down, but in case we miss it, we'd love to have you send it to us. So definitely do that. There's definitely some stuff that is on the website that we didn't talk about today, so check that out. We got some new content on the website.
Yeah, we're always adding new things all the time, every single week.
We have the fall guide, and that's been out for a little bit, but we just added some more to it. Put in like a little write-up on my personal trip on seeing the fall leaves on the Blue Ridge Parkway and a few areas around town. So check that out. The theater guide, thank you to Kamish for putting that together. So the fall listing of different performances and that sort of stuff. We have a Halloween guide that's coming up with Ray's safety tips.
Yeah, I'm going to be highlighting 10 safety tips and a bonus tip.
11 tips.
Well, no, it's not 11 tips. It's 10 tips with a bonus
Ray's
tip.
11 safety tips.
Yep.
No bonus.
10 tips with a bonus, and you guys are going to really want to take a look at that. If you're going out trick-or-treating, make sure you take a look at that because it's really important to be safe during that time.
Safety first. All right. So, just for fun, we are going to do a dad joke. This is good. We might do this every week. Maybe a dad joke of the week. You have not heard this dad joke yet.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
So, here it is. Can February, March? No. But April, May. Oh, boy. It's, Natalie,
I
it's
think it's
the
so
months.
funny because I'm a dad and I love that kind of
I
stuff.
am not a dad.
It's the months of the calendar in order, like as
Whoa.
they happen.
Hey, it's a great way to teach your kids, right?
Now that's way funnier. When you have to explain your joke, I don't know if that's...
You know, that's the essence of every dad joke. It's supposed to be corny and cheesy, which is how it works.
Oh, all right. Moving on from the dad joke of the week. I have what's new going on in Lynchburg. We have 2 new businesses we're going to be talking about. First is going to be the Safe Side Tactical Lynchburg, and they are opening on Saturday, October 21st at 9 a.m., and that is a gun range. It's over on Mayflower Drive in Lynchburg, and they are having their ribbon cutting at 10 a.m., so make sure you check that out. Also, we have the Muscle Maker Grill that's opening, and that's just off of Ward's Road. They built that just
Right by
recently.
that roundabout.
Yeah,
That's
the
right by the
roundabout right
roundabout.
there in the middle of the area Ward Road. So make sure you check them out. We also do have a deal on our website to get a free smoothie, so make sure you check that out as well. All right, guys, so we want you to share your favorite things that you do during the fall, and make sure you hashtag New in Lynchburg so that your fall experience has a chance to be featured on our Instagram page. That's it for this episode, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast. Visit newinlynchburg.com for more episodes. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on in Lynchburg, then sign up for our free weekly newsletter at newinlynchburg.com/subscribe or follow us on Instagram at New in Lynchburg. You can also check us out at Facebook, facebook.com/New in Lynchburg. We will see you next week for another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast.